for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
It's the Mecum Auto Auction in Kissimmee, Florida. The Mecum Auction Company is the world leader of collector car, vintage, and antique motorcycle and road art sales, and this year's auction is in Kissimmee from January 6th to the 16th at the Osceola Heritage Park. WOCA will be broadcasting live from the auction January 7th from 10 a.m. to noon, and you can join us. 5 winners will receive a free one-day ticket for 2 to tour the venue, check out the cars, watch the auction, and take in the Mecum experience. To enter to win, call us at 352-732-8000 when we play this sound.
Sold, 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 sold.
That's 352-732-8000 when this sound is played.
Sold, 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 sold.
This year's auction features over 3,500 vehicles, including the breathtaking McLaren Speedtail. There are only 100 in the world, and you can get up close and personal this year at the Mecum Auto Auction. In order to win, you must be available to attend on Friday, January 7th only. So join Galen Unolda and Shane Matthews live from the Mecum Auto Auction January 7th, 10 a.m. to noon, and listen for this sound.
Sold, 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 sold.
For your chance to win the Mecum Auto Auction Kissimmee, January 6th through the 16th.
Visit the Appleton Museum of Art for a Dickens Christmas, the Urban Family Holiday Exhibition. On view through January 9th, this festive annual display features beautiful themed trees, the beloved Dickens Village, Santas and nutcrackers from around the world, and much more. On the second floor, see trees decorated by community partners. The Appleton is located on East Silver Springs Boulevard in Ocala. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Buffett. Save the Manatee Club has helped to protect imperiled manatees and their aquatic habitat for decades, but there's still more work to be done. Threats from cold weather, red tides, pollution, and boat collisions continue to take their toll on the manatee. So let's work together to safeguard the manatees and the places they call home. Be the friend they need. Visit SaveTheManatee.org. Thank you.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks as we wrap up hour number 1. Remember, coming up next hour, Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin is in the building for In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin, and then Matt Gibbs after that with Auto Repair with Personal Care from Sunrise Auto. Matt Gibbs will be here at 10 o'clock. Supervisor who fired a shot at an armed man back in September has been cleared by the Ocala Police Department of any wrongdoing. Members of 2 panels at the OPD have received video and read the reports concluded that Sergeant Connor Tuck did not violate any agency directive or rules. The state attorney's office previously ruled the officer was legally justified in shooting. Dallas Dothard is charged with resisting an officer without violence, carrying concealed firearms. He's pled not guilty. If you remember back in September, officers were called out to promenade of Ocala Apartments to investigate a fight. Searching the area, officers saw 2 people. One of them, a teenager, was apprehended. The other one, later identified as Dothard, ran. When he started to run, he reached towards his waistband. During the pursuit, Tuck ordered Dothard to stop numerous times. He ignored him. This is according to the officer's body cam video. At one point during the chase, he fell down. Dothard fell down. When he got up, police officials said he had a firearm. He threw the gun, continued running. He fell a second time. He tried to pick the gun up again. The supervisor fired a shot. That was Sergeant Connor Tuck fired a shot, which missed. Dothard then was captured by another officer. The state attorney's officer said the officer was in reasonable fear for his own safety. The report cited Florida statutes that authorize a law enforcement officer to use deadly force when he or she feels the need to defend themselves or protect someone while making an arrest. Now, the OPD did not ask Florida Department of Law Enforcement, which normally investigates officer-involved shootings, to be involved in this case. When asked why, they said no one was injured. And after reviewing the facts of the case and the body camera video, they didn't believe the sergeant violated any policy. So Sergeant Connor Tuck has been exonerated or been deemed justified in his use of deadly force, even though he didn't hit anybody with the bullet that he shot when he was trying to apprehend a suspect who was fleeing with a gun. And this leads to what I love about this is the transparency of the Ocala Police Department. They didn't have to tell you the findings of this. It could have stayed internal. Nobody was injured. Nobody was harmed in this. A bad guy was taken off the street. They did an investigation and found that the sergeant was justified in every action that he did. They didn't have to let us as a public know that. But the transparency that was started by the late, great Chief Greg Graham and continued with Chief Mike Balkin, they're very transparent. They want you to see when they do investigations like this and see the outcome. And, this one was justified. If it wasn't justified, they'd have liked you to see that result as well. That's why I believe that we here in Ocala have been able to not deal with the same strife between our community and our police force as other places in the country. And that's because the police officers here and the supervisors and the sheriff and the chief of police and those involved understand that transparency leads to community trust. The weekly meetings that are held with all the pastors in town that go a long way in helping with community trust. The transparency of releasing a report like this to the newspaper, to Ocala.com, so that they could write stories about it, and releasing it in a press release to WOCA and other radio outlets so we can talk about it on the radio. That lends to credibility because they've nothing to hide. Here was a bad guy that had a gun. He was asked to stop by given a lawful command to stop by police officers. He refused. He took off running, reaching into his waistband. 2 different occasions when he fell, he had the gun with him. And officers felt that, he wasn't listening to commands. He wasn't doing things to stop this pursuit. And he had a gun with him. And officers feared that they were in danger. So they fired at a bad guy that had a gun. They didn't hit him. They didn't kill him. So, this investigation was in-house. State attorney said they didn't see any reason for prosecution here. And then the internal investigation did the same thing. But they gave you the results of the investigation. They released the body cam video, the results of watching the body cam video and everything. So, again, transparency has led to this being something that everybody sees. Everybody knows what happened. And there's no conjecture or there's no, call that why is this a cover-up? Because there is no cover-up. Because of the transparency of the Ocala Police Department. They put it out there that here we go. Here's what happened. Here's our investigation. We read the reports. We watched the body cam video, and here's the conclusions. And you can read it all and make your own decisions. But here's the decision we came up with, and we're sure you'll come up with the same decision. Transparency. That's key. I mean, it really, really is key. Transparency in keeping the public trust. And that's what it's all about, is if you lose the public trust, you lose everything. Carol Ann will not be here today. I just got a text that she will not be here today. She's feeling a little ill, so I'll try to get a best of Carol Ann whipped up during the break. We'll do the best we can. So, but the transparency of the Ocala Police Department, it is a breath of fresh air, and I believe firmly that that's why we don't have the same issues in our town between the police department and the community at large that they have in other big metropolitan areas. I don't know how other police forces, what their policies are, but I know the policy of the Ocala Police Department and the Marion County Sheriff's Office is transparency, to let you see what's going on. And if their officers are at fault, they're dealt with. Officers are relieved of duty. You've seen that in the past where officers have been fired. So, kudos to the leadership of both departments, the Ocala Police Department and the Marion County Sheriff's Department. And you hear the same thing in Bellevue and Denellen. You don't hear any kind of situations. There's always transparency, and transparency leads to community trust. And that's all. Once you lose the community trust, it's a very arduous uphill battle for police departments if they lose the community trust. That's why you see all this issues going on in these big cities and all. I mean, in Minneapolis, they lost the community trust because an officer knelt on somebody's neck for 9.5 minutes while other officers stood around and were more worried about crowd control than telling him, get the hell off that guy's neck. Yeah, I don't care whether George Floyd was a bad guy or not. He was. But so was Derek Chauvin. You got the district attorney in Brunswick that didn't want to file charges against 3 white guys that murdered a black guy in a neighborhood. That leads to not having community trust. We don't have that issue right here in Marion County. The community and the police department have a trusting relationship. We'll be right back after this timeout on WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The Associated Press is reporting the death toll from last weekend's tornadoes and storms that hit 6 U.S. states increased to 88 Monday, including 74 in Kentucky. President Biden last night declared a major disaster in Tennessee and issued an emergency declaration in Illinois, one day after declaring a major disaster in Kentucky. Representative Liz Cheney, the vice chair of the mostly partisan January 6 committee, gathered Monday night to advance contempt of Congress charges against former Congressman Republican Mark Meadows.
Mr. Meadows received numerous text messages, which he has produced without any privilege claim, imploring that Mr. Trump take the specific action we all knew his duty required.
Mr. Meadows on Fox News.
Executive privilege that Donald Trump has claimed is his to waive. It's not mine to waive. It's not Congress's to waive. And that's why we filed the lawsuit.
USA Radio News.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it time for open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For the typical family, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. Double. It really is remarkable. There's more than 400,000 members now who have shared more than $4 billion in medical bills, so they can handle your bills too. And here's the thing, if you join before December 15th, they'll waive your new member fee, so that's another $170 you'll save. I'll give you the number here in a second, but call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline, December 15th, so call now and you'll save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Grading peanuts. This year was a tough year for grading all the peanuts in the tri-state area, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. They're now hosting various meetings to evaluate this year's inspections. T.E. Boy in Georgia, they held a district meeting this past week. They had 12 district managers reporting on their predictions and the difficulty in finding labor. They needed about 1,000 people to grade this crop. Amazingly, they predicted 1,653,000 tons. The actual tonnage, they said, Friday was 1,600,000 tons. An alarming number was regrades. Over 300,000 tons had to be regraded, either for high moisture, foreign material, or other reasons that had to be regraded before they could go into the warehouse. The district managers reporting the major problem was finding labor. They did have some returning employees that worked out good. One problem was the competition with jobs available. There were jobs everywhere, and they had to go out into the market and find about 1,000 people to grade the peanut crop. The work ethic was a problem, they said. Some locations reported that new hires would work till lunch and never return. That work ethic or give any kind of reason for leaving. What saved the state was helping each other as they hired the regional managers to come in to keep the peanuts moving during the harvest time.
I was probably a little bit like you. There was a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. I didn't know what to believe, and I tell you, everyone has an opinion. Some of my friends got vaccinated and some were against it. But I knew this was an important decision, so I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. It's your call, so talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. That's getvaccineanswers.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be mostly sunny and pleasant with a high of 78 to 80. Patchy clouds tonight, low 65 to 68. Then a mix of clouds and sunshine Wednesday with a passing shower in the afternoon. High tomorrow 78 to 80. Mostly sunny on Thursday, high 82 to 84. Friday will be mostly sunny and very warm with a high of 82 to 85. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holden.
Just in case you don't know, there's a real Italian bakery in Ocala. The name is the Magnolia Bakery. Cannolis and traditional Italian pastries, and they're famous. Italian cheesecake too. And they have hot and cold lunch Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 3. When you spend $8, you get free pizza dough or bread. So call your order in ahead and save time. Call 352-207-2667. Magnolia Bakery on North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala. 352-207-2667. Merry Christmas and God bless.
This is the best of Caroline Baldwin's In the Garden. We will not be taking calls today. This is a best of Caroline Baldwin's In the Garden.
In the garden with Caroline, bringing advice to you. In the garden with Caroline, she'll tell you what to do.
That's right. It's In the Garden with Master Gardener Caroline Baldwin. She's here taking all your phone calls about anything that you can grow in dirt. 622-9622 is the number to call. Caroline, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Hadn't seen you in a couple weeks.
No, I heard you. Yeah,
I was unavoidably detained last week.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Well, at least you didn't need bail. Yeah.
Not enough roughage in my life.
I guess.
Ocala golf.
Could be.
I would have liked bail money. That would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Been pretty good. Hey, we were talking off the air before we came on, and it's something I want to ask you. Today it's a heavy fog.
Yes, it is.
To the point where a Learjet, a rather large Learjet,
took
off, and you couldn't even see it.
I heard it, and I'm like, oh, where is it?
You heard it, and you were like, where's it at? And it was out in that pea soup. You could not see it.
You could. Oh, yeah. Please, turn on your headlights, turn on your fog lights. Driving here from where I'm at, luckily I only saw one vehicle without headlights on, but it's like I could only see them because I was coming up to a traffic light